Hello folks, it's Aj playing some Railway Empire, and today I fancied looking at one of the scenarios that, according to the internet and what I've read and from people's comments, is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult scenario on the game, and that is Hunger for Raw Materials, which is the third scenario set on the East Coast, set in 1890. This is the first time I'll ever looked at this. I've got no idea what's in store, so let's jump on in.
Isn't my uniform fabulous?
Sir, it doesn't matter what I pity.
I'll go for the Trickster as my default character, and let's load up and see what's happening in this scenario then.
Historic chance. The industries are growing exponentially, and coal is the driving force behind it. There are lots of industrial centers and Atlantic ports that need supplies of it. We can catapult the United States to the top of the global economy.
Okay, so while he's just speaking, I was just checking out where our competitors are lying and how they're looking. It's all relatively small at the moment. And we start down here in Charleston. So let's have a look what our tasks are. 5 cities by the end of next year, a company value of 10 million, connect 600,000, own 10 industries and rural businesses, have 30 trains running, 100 wagons of steel, same with petroleum, 10 cities each with at least 100,000 population, and for our optional tasks we can buy one of the competitors, and then the last one is to buy all our competitors. Okay, so the first thing I want to focus on is this company value, and this connecting 600,000 people. Now, that one and that one, these two, the Connect 5 cities, these two go together, hand in hand. And I would also hesitate to say that this one, the company value, and owning these industries will also marry up quite nicely. So, we're starting in Charleston. We produce steel, chemicals and tools. What do we have nearby? Okay, down south we have a decent sized city in Jacksonville. Augusta's also a decent size. In fact, a lot of these cities are level 2 or 3 straight off the bat. So what I'm looking for is determining which will be the best avenue for expansion on this for this scenario. Now we are going to need to bring in some coal, iron, coal again, and some logs for our 3 industries. So let's see where the nearest sources are. We have the logs there, which isn't too far away. I spot some coal there, don't know if there's anything closer by though. Doesn't look like it. There's some iron there. Coal even further north, but that's probably too far out of our reach at this point. So we need to think about getting this coal brought back down here. This iron brought back down here. And these logs brought into here as well. Okay, so which cities are going to be the best for initial growth? Now with Jacksonville we've got wheat, we've got sugar and milk and logs. Corn as well, all relatively nearby. We can hook up to Augusta, which produces meat, so them two will supplement each other. Oh, we also have the vegetables there, I missed that. Yep, veggies there as well. Around Augusta we have a cattle farm for its industry. We have this corn here. And then we can bring this these logs, this milk and the wheat and vegetables up as well. We can link that to Atlanta for that beer meat complementary setup. And here we have wheat, which can supply both of those industries there. Logs to both of them. Milk could also go to both of them. The vegetables can go, well, they could all go anywhere really, but you know, don't want to be trekking across the map. And then we have Montgomery. I think it may be worth purchasing that beer industry in Montgomery and replacing it with a meat industry. And then do the same in Knoxville. Purchase the cattle ranch, purchase the brewery, replace it with a meat factory. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 cities. We could go from Charleston also out to Wilmington. Wilmington can then connect to Charlotte. Then we have that beer meat route set up once again. And then we could go to Norfolk. We've got the wheat to supply that industry. There's iron here. I just spotted that iron that's a little bit closer, so that's the iron we will want to bring down eventually. As I was saying, we'll go from Norfolk to Washington. Bring this cattle in. And we'll take Baltimore as well. Okay, so all good. So I want to do the I'll start with a smaller connection. So rather than go from Charleston to Jacksonville, I will go to Augusta, and then from Augusta to Atlanta and to Jacksonville. Atlanta to Montgomery, replace the industry. Atlanta to Knoxville, replace that industry. And I'll call that, that can be phase 1. Probably also throw in Charlotte and Wilmington actually as well. So let's make a start. Let's get a, we'll start small, so we can start fast. Now I'm mindful of potentially cutting off resources. But really, no matter which way I go, I'm either going to cut that corn off to the cities to the north, or if I come down along the river, I'll cut it off to the cities in the south. Now we do have more corn up there, so that corn farm could be the one that supplies our northern cities. So we'll go ahead, run this line straight down the middle. Okay, we will want a second track between these two cities to enable us to run multiple trains on this line. So this is all just your standard startup procedure. So I believe that is, yep, that's 4 trains on that line. Just pause it again. Okay, no, that's fine. I've made a little mistake there. Just speed it up, move that train, those trains I should say, on out of the way. And what I want to do I need to do when I've got the window opportunity is to actually rotate this station here. So I'll just delete that train and I can just rebuy it, it's fine. Let's just get rid of that train as well. So I've already made my first mistake. Wasn't thinking. So which are the trains that I... So that train is there. So I can just clone one of each of these and then we're back where we started. Okay, excellent. So now I want another station in Augusta. And this is going to be the one that links to both Atlanta and to Jacksonville. So we'll go to Atlanta first, it's a little closer. There we go. Oops. So yeah, I'm not trying anything new here. Just sticking to the usual method for growth in the early stages. Okay, now we can head down to Jacksonville. And I imagine it's on this line that we're going to need to start issuing our bonds, so we can raise that early capital. So we can afford the first line, no problem. But yes, we'll need to issue a bond to afford the return. So that costs 119,000. So we'll just issue one to start with. I'll run 6 trains on this stretch because it's a little bit further away. So that's our 6 trains. And the next city is going to be Montgomery. And to do that, we will need to issue the next bond. I know I put that station there, but I'm not going to use that station for this connection. That station will come into play later on. So there's the track. Just connect that up there.
Open up a large number of cities with your tracks.
So that's our 5 cities connected for the first target. And now we've run out of money, so now we have to do the waiting game. So let's just go ahead and speed up. Okay, so that's 2 from Montgomery. Now we can go ahead and wait until we can afford to put 2 down from Atlanta. So far, so good. So there's the first one, and the second. Just slow the game down. So the next city will be Knoxville. And that will cost us 83,500. Let's just have a look at the tech tree for this era. When setting used locomotives, depreciation is reduced by 40%. Yeah, we'll start off with that. There we go, there's the initial track. Obviously there's no chance we're going to afford this second run, but we can get him prepared. So how much was it? 80,000, well, just under 81,000, okay. And then I'll probably run from Knoxville up to Louisville. Once that's done, we'll run from Augusta to Charlotte, Charlotte to Wilmington, probably also Wilmington back to Charleston, and then Wilmington to Norfolk, Norfolk to Washington, and then Washington to Baltimore. Just roll the speed that little faster. Okay, there we go, that's a bit of money now in our pockets. Okay, that wasn't quite at the halfway point, but that's fine. So that's 2. And 3. And 4. Build up to 40,000 for the small station, there we go. Now the handy thing with connecting to Louisville is that because we have a competitor there, Roger, obviously his network should help it grow, and we can leech off of that. So we're now past the $2 million barrier for our company value. We're almost halfway towards the population target. And we have the one city over 100,000 already, which is obviously our initial city, Charleston. Let's just run the speed a bit, get this track put down. And then, as I said, we'll head to Charlotte. Leave myself a bit of room in front of the station, so that'll make any adjustments to our platforms a little bit easier later on, and also a little bit less disruptive. I'm going to go ahead and hire that mediator now, and then I need to resist any auctions, and I want to use that mediator's talents when purchasing one of the industries to get the cut price on the industry rather than on some tech. So ignore that as much as I want to get it. Okay, let's continue our city expansion up along the Atlantic coast. So we need 91,000, and then we need an extra 60,000 in order to extend this this station here. So we can pay for the expansion, and then the connection. Again, just leaving that gap there, so that any rearrangements that need to be done later on, to tidy up or to make things a little bit more efficient, can be done with minimum disruption. So we do the same there, leave that little gap.
Your rail network is constantly expanding, and the number of your trains is increasing.
So that's that 30 train target now exceeded. So our next city is going to be Wilmington. And I'm going to come up this way. So don't cut the access to the wheat off. the, from the cities to the south. So I need $146,000 to link those cities up with a single track. And now we need to add the second run. One, two, one. And we can put the tower, and more importantly we can put the trains down. So next it's on to Norfolk. There we go. Then we'll go Washington and finally Baltimore. Now to avoid the risk of them coming to Washington before we can connect up properly, we'll go ahead and do this. So that's Washington and Baltimore now locked. Obviously he is already in Baltimore as well, but that's fine. Because what I didn't want to have happen was, while we're waiting to get the money together to pay for these lines, for him to come down and invade Washington, so to speak. So rather than take that chance, I just put another station there straight away. Now I'm going to have 4 trains from each station on this track because it's a beer meat line and it's also a fair distance. So there we go, that's the 4. And then this Washington to Baltimore line can just be a single train because it's a very short distance. Okay, so halfway to the company value goal, nearly got the 600,000 people. Now it's time to start buying up some industries. Now the first one I want to try and purchase is this brewery that's placed in Montgomery. And to buy that it would cost 474. So let's speed the game up. Okay, we should now be able to repay one of our... oh no, not yet. Now we can repay one of our early bonds.
More and more citizens are enjoying
Excellent.
access to rail transport.
Now we should be able to purchase that. Just keep an eye on it in case they start a bidding war. Okay. Let's just get the price for a meat industry, so 300,000. The cost to demolish is 240, so we need 540,000 before we go ahead and start demolishing. Because I've had it before where you buy it, you demolish it, realise you can't afford to replace it, and then the private investor comes back along and puts something else there again. So you've just wasted a lot of money. Now fortunately, you know, you can still recover from that, but it's a setback you don't really want at an early stage. Okay, so that's our meat industry now in place. So what we can do now is feed it with the cattle, which is located just there. There we go. And for the time being, 1 track and 1 train should be more than sufficient. I do enjoy the historical references that the newspaper publish from time to time. Okay, so that's that. Now, how much would it be to buy? To be fair, we should have bought it before anything else, but never mind. So the next thing that's probably worth buying is that's already at level 3. That's at level 2. The brewery is also at level 2. I'll go ahead and buy that brewery in Atlanta. We'll do the bond manipulation. And by that I mean you repay a bond and then immediately issue a much larger value bond. to give you a big cash boost. That price is currently going up. Let's just hold off for a minute. So that's now jumped to just under 6.5 million. Perfect. We've already started shipping petroleum, which I guess is coming from somewhere. Where are we making petroleum? There. Now let's check the price again here. I will go ahead and bid it. And hopefully we'll still have enough remaining after this auction to purchase. Oh my. Perhaps not. Okay, let's have a look at... No. Let's go ahead and purchase that meat industry then instead. And then we'll supply our 2 new industries. So we need to expand that station a little. And as with that meat industry, I do believe 1 train is going to be enough for the time being. Now we'll connect this ranch. And again, for the time being, it's just going to be 1 train. I do believe that will be enough to keep those 3 industries in supply. Okay, so we can put an industry in Charlotte, and I think the weaving factory is the one we want, because we have a source of cotton just there. So let's go ahead and place him. And then we want to expand that station there. And then begin to supply the cotton. Okay. So we're now up to 8.6 million. So what can we buy up next? So that brewery is too expensive at the moment. Yeah, it's too expensive. Can almost afford that refinery. Huh. I would be very surprised if they don't initiate a bidding war for this. I'm very surprised. It would have been free money to them, because I need to use it to supply my own industry, so... oh well. So that's
You have already
10 million.
managed to increase the value of your company considerably. Keep it
So we need to own 5 more industries. I'm thinking this milk. But yes, I'll take those logs. Because those logs will be in demand in both of those cities. Now unfortunately we can't quite afford a furniture industry yet, but if we run the game a little... ah, too slow, never mind. However, those logs here, and we will need a large station for this. Yes, these logs will be needed by all 3 nearby cities so we can make money. So that was a steal for 70,000, really was. So then we want to hook up to our station in Washington. There we go. And then it's quite a ways to go, but we do want to also run the logs to Norfolk. Now this one we will have multiple trains because it's a oh, I can't afford it. Would have been nice, but can't afford it, so we move on. So now we can run this second stretch of track. We have an error somewhere. Yeah, the error is I can't afford it. Though it's very early in the morning. Or late at night, whatever. So he hits the supply tower, so we don't need to put in another one. And we'll have 3. Now sadly there's no way for me to get into Pittsburgh without line hopping, because we still have a spare platform here. But in the meantime we can expand him because he's overburdened right now. So he's still at 100% workload at level 3. So while it's expensive to expand them, it does pay for itself over time. Not only in terms of obviously your profit, but also in the fact that your trains are not waiting around quite as much to be filled up. So that's now level 5, so can't do anything else with him. Let's see, so we've got 6 now. We need another 4 industries. That wheat would be a good one. So that's going for 395,000. But in the meantime, we shall take advantage of this connection bonus. So it was this one, wasn't it? This wheat farm. So the price has increased a little. That's fine. Now we should be able to... Ooh. I'll leave it a little while just in case they try and outbid me. I won't have enough to bid up. So just hang on for a minute. Okay, that's better. So he is going to end up supplying 1. He can go to Augusta, that's fine. So he'll supply Charleston, Charlotte, and Wilmington. So we want a large station. So we need to do some housekeeping here in Wilmington. Just don't know what happened there. And I am going to have 2 trains. Because he'll need a decent amount of wheat for his own city growth and for the industry that's in Wilmington. So next we can bring him out. So leave him there for a second. And then connect him up to Charlotte. He should only need the just the one train. And then Charleston. Yes, that's right, Charleston. There we go. Just because of the distance, he can have 2 trains. You may notice that what I'm not doing is fill in these lines, well, some of these lines, with those interim signals. and that's just to keep these trains spaced out a little. Okay, so that's 7 of 10. What's worth grabbing next? Perhaps this milk, or these logs. We'll have the logs. Again, he's going to feed quite a few stations, so he'll need a big big station there. And he will come first of all to Montgomery. And then to Atlanta. Then down to Knoxville. Jacksonville, I do beg your pardon. I do promise I can read. This fella can go ahead and have 2 trains. At least, anyway. Just because of its distance. So this way we can make sure we keep on top of the demand. Let's put two supply towers. One there, one there. Heck, why not? We'll give him 3 straight off the bat. And then from Augusta. Into that. And we'll have 2 making this run. Okay, so now we need to purchase 2 more businesses or industries. It's getting breakdowns now. But I'm okay with that still. To bypass the Indian camp. There we go. Excellent. So he needs expanding urgently. He'll probably need to go all the way to level 5 to be honest, so we'll build some money up and do that. What else have we got? Okay, so that's that industry at level 5. Yes, we need expansion here. That's going to create a bottleneck at this point. Okay, so that's up to level 3. Now we can put a museum in Charlotte, that'll help city growth. We can do the same in Augusta very shortly. There we go. That'll again aid further expansion and growth. Still need to buy one more industry, don't I? Perhaps this fruit farm. Okay, we've got 1.3 million now, so at this stage I think we can buy whichever industry we want. So now it's a question of which one do I want? I'll have the livestock. His trains will make me a bit of money off that, so that's good. Oh, still need one more. We also need to should go for the brewery.
You have a large number of businesses in your possession.
So leave that track there ready. Expand that station. We have a supply tower already, so don't need to worry about that. Got a couple of interim signals in by hand. Then we'll clone him 3 times. Okay, so what's left? We start transporting steel and growing cities. Very well. So steel is being produced here, and as we said, it requires a source of coal and a source of iron. Now we could expand our station here to its biggest size. We could then bring this coal to the city, and where's the? I'm sure there's iron ore here somewhere. Maybe was it further up? Ah, there it is. I couldn't see. It was a bit. It's just because of colours. Just let these cities clear. Sorry, these trains clear the city. That's insanely awkward, but it does the job. So we want to run a line down like so. build our station. Now I have put the interim signals in this one. The reason being is I plan to hook up the logs and the cotton to this line. Don't have a source of vegetables here. That would have been handy for putting the preservers there. As it is, we'll go for a tool makers because we do have these logs here and we can just run them around. So that industry that I set up, I'm now going to demolish and replace with a tool making industry. Progress. Because that will mean the steel will start being shipped from Louisville to Knoxville. This is certainly not the most graceful of tracks, but it is going to get the job done. Whoops. So it's just time to do the housekeeping here. So we can free up that platform for our incoming logs. Shouldn't need too many trains on this one. But we'll add a couple of interim signals. Just so they can space out a bit rather. Yes, we'll have 4 trains to begin with. So now you need your source of iron. She's just there. That should be plenty. Okay, I noticed we had a log jam. Let's see if we can't identify the culprit here. Ah, that's simple enough. Problem solved. Okay, so hopefully soon we will start seeing some steel leaving for Knoxville. At this point, I'm making enough money that we can start with the maintenance building placements. Let's check our research. So the petroleum is nearly done. And we're close with the steel. Well, no, we're not even started the steel. We're close to producing the steel here. Okay, bidding war it is. Don't think he'll go much higher than that, if at all. There we go. So now we can ramp up production. And the trains that are running to Knoxville, when they depart Louisville, they can now prioritize steel. So let's get all these set up to do that.
Petroleum is becoming more and more important.
So now it's just this steel should start transporting soon. There we go, look. So that's going to start ticking away nicely. So now it is time to start to perform the last bit of the task, which is to grow 10 cities to 100,000. So we shall start on that now, but I'll schedule that in part 2. This has gone on quite long enough, it's over an hour long, I apologise for that. I may even break it down, so this may already be part 2, so we may pick it up in part 3. Obviously if that's the case, you'll have to forgive the mistake. We just have to see what happens when I come to the editing. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, feel free to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you so desire. And I shall see you in the next part, whatever number that may be. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you later.